All right, so to start part three of the engine swap on my Z, I think we'll be swapping in the used motor, but ripping the blown one apart. The bottom end is wrecked, but we want to switch over a ton of parts off of it onto the used motor. Like we would be ripping both motors apart and just putting all the good stuff onto the new motor. So, like here we have the Z1 clutch and XD lightweight flywheel. The flywheel weighs like 19 pounds compared to the stock. I don't know. Going off the top of my head, I think it was either 30 or 32 pounds. So that's some solid weight reduction there. And just replacing a part that will fail anyways. Plan on reusing the valve covers because the oil galley gaskets, not the oil galley gaskets, the spark plug galleys have seals that aren't replaceable. Not like the valve, like so you have a valve cover and that's a gasket and that's replaceable, but if you get oil in your spark plug valley, you have to change the valve cover as those gaskets are integrated into the cover itself. So we'd be swapping these under the new motor because these are just 2 years old. We end up with we'll end up with six spare ignition coils. The spark plugs themselves are only 2 years old. OEM iridium, I think. We can just reuse those as well. There's like a ton of used parts on here. Yeah, between the clutch, flywheel, all that stuff I just mentioned. Bent the fuel. I was like, the fuel rail is junk. We can take that off and throw it away. I do have new fuel dampers on here. We can swap them out. We got we got like a ton of sensors on here too. I replaced the camshaft position sensors, crankshaft sensor, oxygen sensors. We got like a ton of sensors. I'm going to be running like what I consider like a detuned DE because I do plan on making a whole lot less power, but with better reliability and better heat management. I'll be selling off like the lightweight pulleys. I'm gonna try and hit the forms of that. I got like a new, relatively new thermostat. I guess I could take that off and test it. But I totally forgot that the Pathfinder mod has another thermostat in it. Rocco was like, that doesn't make sense. If that fails, you have to like you have to like get that off and replace it. Like a total pain in the butt to get that done. But yeah, we're gonna end up with like a ton of spare parts to be running the used motor reliably and cheaply for the foreseeable future while I set aside money for the next car, which my wife is actually fine with as long as it is blue or orange. She does not care for like the Chevy equivalent of like the Le Mans Sunset. She wants like a nice bright orange. And I think I agree. I love that. I love Nissan's solar orange that they had on some 350Zs, but not many owners bought into it. I have a Z1 urethane motor mounts there. I'll be reusing those since I threw the original ones away. Let's see here. Yeah, this is the motor mount. Like you can see, like the bushings themselves are in pretty good conditions. We can reuse those. Oh, need to censor the Pathfinder bag there. Of course, that was the first the first bag I actually labeled the bolts in them. Rocco and Jess were just nagging me to get the bolts labeled, and of course, the first one I label is PG-13. Yeah, I got the engine stand together. I guess we'll be putting the used motor once we get it home. get that in there, get that on the stand, get the engine hoist all folded up. Got another dolly, old man assist, aka a good solid creeper. I thought there was some other update. Oh yeah, our hands found every sharp surface on the Z, so we have these. I went to Harbor Freight. We also picked up like some 9mm gloves. You know they're meant for business when a dude is stabbing himself in the hand with a fork. Right. So yeah, I'll get to it. And get this video posted next weekend. Yeah, everyone's swap is going to be different. We opted to keep the AC, so we're able to swing the compressor there out of the way, but the condenser is on aluminum lines. I kind of scraped up cleaning it, but it's on aluminum lines. We'd read somewhere on the My 350Z forum, someone had like, oh, you can swing the condenser out of the way. Nope, not happening. There's the bell housing with some coolant still in it. We took that Pathfinder mod off and it just rained coolant everywhere. But yeah, I really need to focus on heat management. Like that's a tough lesson to learn. Yeah, that's a little heat shield there that came with the Tomei headers. But yeah, with no oil cooler, no, I do have the Mishimoto radiator, but no oil cooler, no hood venting. The Tomei headers were unwrapped. It just roasted everything. I figure that's why. Oh, here's the spring. One of the springs that popped out of this. It was like a little spring-loaded plastic mechanical failure. I was trying to get it off. I'm like, what is going on here? And it just fell apart in my hand. I think the same thing happened to the other side. It just spring and broke apart. So yeah, we got to order new pigtails there, and we can just solder them on. All right, so it's the second part, I believe, of the third video on my engine swap. I think you'll find that my circumstances are different, though, than just your typical engine swap. Like, I have mine ripped apart because this motor has a heads package on it. Ooh, spiffy. Right, so tonight I just parked in front of the motor. I'm not totally sure how to get it on the engine stand. I think I'll work that out with Rocco and get the engine sitting on that to free up that cart. Got the valve covers off easily enough, just a few like 10mm screws holding them down. These are just 2 years old, but typically what happens with these is like these gaskets here are non-sealable. This is where the spark plug galley is, but like actually it's this one here, the middle one. I'm just kind of putting the light through it. It looks completely intact, but that's where that's the only spark plug that was covered in oil, but that seal seems completely intact. I don't know, maybe it's not as, maybe there's more give to it than I thought, or maybe there's just, I don't know, maybe it wasn't seated properly before the install. I have no idea. But yeah, I'm gonna clean those up and get them on the used motor. I got all kinds of harnesses. I got 6 handy coil packs that I keep as spares, fuel dampers. I got like the rest of the Pathfinder mod off. These are the 370Z injectors. I think it's the stock DE injectors. They probably tap out at like 285 wheel horsepower in a dyno jet, maybe 290. Anything more than that, you're going to need bigger injectors. But yeah, for like 370, I'm not sure what I don't think the demand is there for used injectors. So these are the Wulftec C8 Cam Shafts. Look how spiffy they look. This is actually the first time I've seen them when I bought the heads package. Z1 installed it, and they tuned it. And I kind of picked it up and drove off. So and building my car on my own now, like a big boy. I think my next update, I think I'm gonna wait for Rocco. We're gonna probably get these. I think these are like solenoid sensors. Get these off. Get the timing cover off. We got a ton of goodies buried under there, like a newer timing kit and ISMO oil pump. We'll check to see what condition those are in. See if we can put those on the used motor. Because we plan on ripping the used motor apart as well to replace all the gaskets, some of the seals, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. What else do we have here? Oh, just one little thing I wanted to show. Like, if you ever looked at the camshaft position sensor and wondered how it works. Oh, it's kind of jammed in there again. I kind of put it in there just to... So, yeah, it's just a little... It's a Hall type sensor. It basically uses magnets. And so you can see when I put it back in how close it is to the camshaft. And right, and that's basically how it works. I think if like the camshaft like wobbles a bit, like it kind of pushes, like the magnets, you know how magnetism works. I figure that's what trips the any codes for it. I don't think I've ever actually heard of that happening. I've heard of like a tracked HR breaking a camshaft before. I don't know if it threw that code or not. The motor just died on it. But yeah, like the vast majority of times, actually I think the only times I've heard of these sensors failing is just because they're just junk. Like the original ones tend to be junk, I think. And then I think Nissan revised them. And then I've seen where people are like hit and miss with the aftermarket ones. It's a Hall type sensor because it's magnet. If you drop it on the concrete floor, like if you're getting you don't have to tear your motor out of your car to get to it. But there's a bit more access this way. But where was I going there? Like if you have your sensor sitting on the side of your car or something, you knock it off and it falls on like a concrete floor and clangs and battles. Yeah, it's toast. It's done for. But yeah, I'm just kind of admiring these camshafts. I think I have a buyer lined up for them, so do not pass go if you're looking at these with a hungry eye. Do not collect $200. All right, well, yeah, in the meantime, I guess the camshaft, the heads are the perfect place to store parts, I guess, in the meantime. All right, I got like the rest of the Pathfinder mod off. I'm still deciding what to keep and what to reuse, but yeah, I'll keep you posted. All right, until next time. Hey, so ends part 3 of my engine swap series here. Got my motor. Yeah, let's twist this around. I just had to get myself in a shot, I guess. There's the motor, the camshafts are showing. I'm at an awkward angle. Yep, those are the C8 cams. Cammy goodness. Well, if you enjoyed my stuff, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, post some constructive criticisms. Till next time, hang 10.